feel like this. Only been days, but it feel like months. Been gone for a year, only know like once. Life move fast when you do what you want. At this time, doing what I want. Hope you doing what you want.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back. So I had a few people asking me about some of the products that I use to do my makeup, and so I did promise y'all in detailed makeup tutorial. So here we are. So a lot of my products are drugstore products. I have a few on the higher end, but yeah, so I'm gonna go through all these products, show y'all how I use them, like what type of brushes I use, the different types of looks you can get as far as, you know, the soft bead, you know, full bead, long lasting, all that good stuff. So let's get into it. First thing first, you want to start off with clean, prepped skin. So, you know, you want it to be cleansed. I've cleansed, I've moisturized. My skincare is pretty simple. I don't have a 5-step, 10-step routine when it comes to my skin. There are a few things that I do want to add, but I'm just kind of doing my research and seeing, you know, what's best. So yeah, prep skin, clean, fresh, moisturized, and then you want to start with a primer. The primer that I've been using is the Power Grip primer by e.l.f. This is what it looks like, and as you can see, girl, don't play about that primer, because primer, what it does is, one, it's like a layer. It's a layer between your skin and the makeup, and it allows your makeup to go on smoother and last longer throughout the day. And I really like to focus it on the T-zone area, so like, you know, my cheeks, my chin, my nose, my forehead. This kind of has like a sticky feel to it, so it allows, like, you know, the makeup to stick and grip. Everybody is different when it comes to the application of the makeup. I'm pretty sure there's like a more efficient way that, you know, people do it, but I'm just gonna show y'all my way, and, you know, take what you will and switch up, you know, however works best for you. Customize it to what works best for you. Also, I am on the oilier spectrum. Like, I'm like a combination to oily, so I do tend to go for the more matte look, because throughout the day, like, I will tend to get oily, so I'm not really like a dewy makeup type of girl, even when I'm doing like my light beats. So today's beat is going to be, I'm gonna say like a medium coverage, because I'm never just like a full-on, like, I don't really like to cake the makeup on my face. That's just not my vibe particularly. But with everything that I tell you, you can always use less, you can always use more. I'm really just showing y'all like what I use and how I use it. So after primer, I like to go in with my foundation, and I go, the foundation that I'm using currently is a MAC Studio Fix. This is the MAC Studio Fix, and my shade is NC42. And when it comes to foundation, I typically really don't even wear foundation unless like I'm really going to an event, special occasions, things of that nature. Okay, so when it comes to foundation, if you want full coverage, then you want to use a brush, and you want like more of like a denser brush. I use this for my blush obviously, but like a brush similar to this, you want it to be a little dense. Some people like I can't even tell you what type of brush it is, and I don't have one to show y'all, so I'm sorry. This is just the type of brush that I typically use if I want full coverage for my foundation. But if you want like a natural, not so heavy look, then I like to just use my beauty blender for my foundation. Okay, and the best thing when it comes to makeup as well is I always like to start out with less and just build on that, because if you put too much on there, it's kind of hard to take it away, but if you put too little, then it's easier to just add more. You also want to make sure that you are getting like under your chin area. You just really want it to be very well blended. You don't want people to be able to tell your foundation from your skin. Like, I tend to miss this little corner right in here. Make sure you get in there really good. And so when it comes to a lighter bead, this is basically, as you can see, you can still kind of see my freckles are poking through. Now, if you wanted like more coverage, you can always just go in with another layer. That's how I like to do it. Okay, if that second layer still isn't enough for you, you can go in with a third layer. But you also got to consider that we're going to be putting on concealer, powder, contour. So the next thing that I like to go in with is my concealer. So what I do is I will place my concealer in the areas where I want that highlight. And for me, it's typically like in these areas. And the concealer that I'm using is e.l.f. And this is in the shade medium warm. So I like to let my concealer sit for a little bit. So while I'm doing that, while I'm letting that sit, then I go in with my concealer. And this concealer is also e.l.f. And this is in the shade chocolate, rich chocolate. And honestly, I'm just not a big fan of this. Like, I don't know if the color is just too dark, or like, I don't know, it just gets muddy and I don't like that. So we're probably gonna have to try out a different one, and that's why I'm using like minimal. And for this, because I really don't like the color, you can use a brush, but I'm gonna use a beauty blender because like, I just want it to be lighter. And that's why beauty blender is better when you're wanting a more natural look, because basically it just soaks up more of the product. And so when it comes to the contour, you really want to make sure you're like blending it out well. Otherwise, you know, you will have harsh lines and it'll look crazy. And I typically, like, you don't want to go all the way into the cheek when it comes to blending your concealer. I try to stay above like where my lip starts, like right in here, and then I go up to my temple, and then the forehead, I just kind of like meet it right there at that temple. Alrighty, and so then next I like to go in with my blush, and what I've been currently using is also e.l.f. This, when I tell y'all, this is such an affordable makeup brand, but it still gets the job done. Like, if you are still learning, still practicing, I highly recommend trying these e.l.f. products, because yeah, this shade is Coral Crush. I love me a good peachy vibe. I've learned that this is like actually really pigmented, so I don't go too crazy. So yeah, and then just take that beauty blender again, and then you're placing this literally like right above the contour. Same concept, going to the temple. Some people like to go in, like put a little bit on their eye. Then put it on your nose, just give you like that cute little blushed look. Like, you know, if your man says something cute, stop it. So yeah, little blushy blush here. Okay, so now that we've got our contour, we got our blush, we're gonna go ahead and blend out our concealer. And really what I do is, like, I like to do the contour on one side And the blush, like I'm just kind of like turning the beauty blender that way, like all the products aren't in one place, you know, like it's not like the contour isn't messing with the concealer and the blush. So I'm just kind of like turning my beauty blender, and like you can always use the end parts and things like that. So yeah, I'm just turning my beauty blender to where the part isn't covered in. Oh no, y'all, I think this kind of dries pretty fast, so you want to kind of like not let it sit too long, because I'm really having to blend it out. Letting it sit like that also gives you extra coverage. Okay, so now that I have that blended out, I always like to save my under eyes for last, and then you're just bringing that to the temple as well. And I like to kind of go between both of them, that way that they're blended out evenly. And I also go over my lids like this. And if you're not making funny faces, you're not blending it good enough, because you don't want those creases. So you gotta get in there. Okay, so now that that's well blended, we're going to set it. And I'm gonna be using the Laura Mercier. And this is in translucent. But they have this other one, I think it's like, they have another one that I really want to try. Because sometimes I feel like this kind of on the, I don't know, like ghosty. So what I do is like when I press it, and I'm using this little powder puff that I got from e.l.f. as well. So cute. And I like to kind of like scrape a little bit of the powder off. And then I go in and I set. And I like to set with my under eyes before I set anything else. And you just want to go in there and like really press at it so that you can avoid those creases. Because for me, I tend to crease more like under my eyes, and I smile a lot, so my smile lines. Then I kind of go over the lid as well. Okay. And then I like to go on my forehead, because I get oily on my forehead, down my nose. I like to do my chin and my smile creases, my smile little lines or whatever. Now, if you have an all-day event, a lot of people tend to bake. So, you know, they'll put like a good amount on there, and they will let it sit. But I just don't like my makeup really cakey, so I'm just gonna completely skip that part. I've also heard that using a pressed powder actually is a little bit better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna also go in with like this little yellowish shade. That way I can get a little bit of my color back. And I'm just gonna press in there with the same little powder brush a little bit. And then I'm just going to set that. And I honestly could have just used this powder, because it just gives me color. So that's that. So now I also want to go in and set, like basically whatever liquid you put on, you want to go back and set it with a powder, especially if you want that matte look, especially if you're on the oilier side. So I'm going to go in with this color here, right? And then I just kind of dab it and I tap it. And then for this, I just kind of like tap it in that same little place, you know, where we put the liquid contour. You see? Same on this side here. I'm just kind of like tapping it. And then the forehead. and afterwards I'll kind of go in and blend it more. I also like to go under my chin, and that just gives you kind of like that chiseled, that snatched look. You know what I mean? Like that snatched look. Don't go too crazy now. And I just kind of go in with the light hand, and then I'll kind of bring it down my neck a little bit. Like so, like that. Y'all, do y'all be watching Tab? I love her. Like so, like that. So then I go in with my blush, and like I said, I'm setting the liquid blush, so I'm gonna go in with this peachy color here, and I just kind of dab at it, you know, tap it, and then just boop 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 like that. Boop, boop, tap at it like that, and then, you know, the nose. Give it a little color. Like so, like that. And then, to get a more smooth contour, I'm gonna go in with the setting powder. And I'm just going to, you know, get a little bit, wipe it off, and I'm just gonna clean up my contour like that. Clean up my contour like that. And then while I'm allowing that to kind of set a little bit, I'm going to contour my nose. I know a lot of people, like the contour nose look. I don't always do that because I have a cute little nose, so I don't really contour all the time. So for me, but I'm just still gonna show y'all how you would do it. So I like to take kind of like a small little brush like this, and then you get a little bit on there, right? And then you want to tap that exit off, just like when I say like barely tap it, barely tap it. If you tap too much, then you can take a little bit off like on your hand or whatever. But yeah, so you tap it, I gave anything, and then like right on the bridge of your nose, you just kind of go down like that, and then I like to just kind of like fade it into the eyebrow, and then you can fade it down a little bit. Okay, so that's one side, and then you want the lines to be a little closer together, because that's what's going to give you like that snatched and Michael Jackson. So then, you know, once you apply the line, then you want to go in and really blend it out like that. And some people use liquid to do it first, but for me, I just do powder, because that's just what works for me. I don't want it to be like too strong, if that makes sense. So yeah, and then I'll just kind of like blend it into, you know, the brow and the lid and stuff like that. Okay, now that we've let like that cleanup sit for a little bit, I'm just gonna go in with a big brush. I'm gonna take this yellowish color. Preferably I would like do a pressed powder that's like my skin color, but because I don't have one, I'm just using that color, and I'm just, you know, cleaning up that contour that powder that we had sitting there. And even with the big brush, if you feel like everything is just not blending well, you could just go in and kind of like, you know what I mean, just touch it up a little bit, make sure everything's cohesive. Okay, so now I kind of want to go over my nose a little bit. Okay, so next, and in the past I used to do my eyeshadow first before I did my face because of the fallout. But honestly, nowadays I really don't wear eyeshadow like I used to. So typically when I do eyeshadow, I personally like to do that first before I do my face, before I do my concealer, before I do all of that, so that like is any fallout, then you know I can take it away before I like do my face and I don't have to worry about that. So because I forgot that step because I don't typically wear it, what I'm gonna do is just kind of like a light beat, and in another video I'll do like something more like fun, like extravagant, but today it's just kind of gonna be like a soft beat, and me just showing y'all some of the products that I use and how I use them. So the palette that I use is the Too Faced Born This Way. Yes, the Natural Nudes. This is what the palette looks like. These are the colors. And so like I said, I'm gonna do a natural look. So I'm gonna go in with like this brownish color right here, and I'm gonna just like, I barely like just tap it, right? And then I'm gonna go in, I'm just gonna kind of like tuck it at my eyelid, and I'm gonna press at it, and then I'm gonna fade it, just so that I can avoid like it having any fallout. And even this, you really want it to be blended. Like you don't want any harsh lines, so you really just want to blend it. And even if you go in with a really soft hand as you're applying it, that helps as well. So I'm going to take more of that brown color, tap the excess, I'm going to press it in, and then I'm going to blend. And as you can see, like how it's creasing right in there, that's where you want to do it, is like right in that crease. Okay, and I do kind of want like a smoky look, so I'm gonna go in with the darker brown color, and then I'm gonna tap off the excess, and I'm also just kind of gonna press it in there, and then I'll press it on the other side. Make sure I got any excess off so I don't have to worry about any like fallout and having to fix my concealer, because I totally should have did my eyeshadow before. Or you also, if you do like decide, oh, last minute that you want to do eyeshadow, you can also put some of that pressing powder underneath your eyes. That way if it does fall out, you can just sweep it away. But I don't want to put any more powder on, so I'm just going to be very careful about applying this shadow. And then I'll kind of like take it in, blend it in with, because that first color I put in, that lighter brown color, is almost like a transition color. So we're blending that in with each other. And so then that's what gives you that smokiness. And sometimes your finger is like the best blending tool. So like if the brush isn't just doing what I needed to do, I would literally go in with my finger and almost kind of like wipe some of it away. And then there's like two forms to applying your makeup with a brush. So you can do the tapping motion, right? And then you have like the circular motion, and then you just kind of have like the sweeping motion. And so whatever is easiest for you, whatever works for you, whatever gets you the look that you're going for, that blended, seamless, smooth look, that's just what you want to do. Okay, so now that we got smokiness, I like to take a flat brush that looks like this, and then I'm going to take, because I want like a little bit of glow, a little bit of shimmer, I'm gonna take this like kind of nudish color right here. I'm gonna like pat, and then for the application, this one I want to just press it onto the skin. It's not really giving me the it's not giving me the coverage that I want, so I'm gonna just add it until I'm satisfied. That looks good. So that's what the eyes are looking like. Now, one of the hardest things to do and to get it like bright, to me, is eyeliner, especially if you want to do a wing. So this is the Sephora brand, and it's like a little felt tip. Like for some reason, these are always the ones that's easier for me to use. They have so many different kinds, but for me, the felt tip really helps. And then there's one, I think it's called Stila. Yeah, Stila, I really love theirs too. For some reason it was easy for me to get my wing pretty good when it came to that. So my best advice for this is to take your time and to kind of go in slow, small strides. So let me get a little closer for y'all. And so when I start off, I kind of like to measure how far I want my wing. I don't typically do like really dramatic wings unless I mess up and I have no choice, but I can also show y'all how to correct it. So what I do is like starting like with your bottom line, like your eye line right here, I kind of measure it off of that, and I just kind of do a little swoop, you know, like a little, like with a light hand, right? And so then you can go in and you can do another one, just depending on, like I said, how dramatic you want it. And then that's when I go in and I kind of like slowly just like, you know, add to it. And like I said, I'm just going in like small strides to get like an even line like that. I don't typically like go all the way to the corner. That's just me, that's my preference. When it comes to your eyebrows and your wings, like they're gonna be sisters, okay? They're not gonna be twins, they're gonna be sisters, so it's not gonna be just identical on both sides. So again, going based off of my lower eye line, I start my little wing like that, and then I just kind of like build off of it in slow strides, and then I'll come in like this, and I'll create my line. Now they look too chunky for me. I prefer like the sharper look, so I'm going to show you how to get that. So I go in with a really small little like flat brush like this, right? And I take my concealer. You can do concealer, you can do your foundation, and I do just the smallest amount of concealer, and then I like to like put a little bit on my brush on both sides, right? And then you take a mirror, and what you do is you just clean it up. And that gives you that more like sharp look. So I'm gonna go in on the other side and do the same thing. Y'all, my allergies are on 10 right now, so if I sound like crazy, that's why. Spring is around the corner. So same thing, go in and just clean it up. Okay, and I know a lot of people do their brows first, but because like I kind of have like thicker brows, like my brows are pretty full, I just saved them for last because I don't really do much. Like I just kind of fill in sparse areas. So what I'm using today is called Spiked by MAC. You know, it has a little brush on the end, so I like to go in and I just brush it. I do wish I had like a gel. I totally forgot to get some. But like a gel that I know a lot of people use like NYX, and what it does is it kind of just like, it's like a gel for your eyebrows, and it keeps it in place. It keeps them from like not being all wowed, you know, not wiping them off. So yeah, I just brushed them. Like if I had that, I would brush it with that instead, and then I just go in like I said, and I do kind of like to make the front part a little more like clean. And like with the lightest hand, I just go in, like I said, where there's gaps, and I just kind of like fill it in. So kind of like that. And I highly recommend, like depending on your complexion, like either a dark brown, if your hair color is red, they have red, you know, eyebrow pencils. I rarely recommend like black, because black is just like boom, like eyebrows just there. So yeah, Again, the front part, I just kind of like to clean it up, kind of like make a straight line. And then I'll mimic like some hairs in those gaps. And just keep in mind, like my hand is really light when it comes to this because like I said, you don't want it to be so bold and out there to where like when someone looks at you, the first thing they see is just your brows. So yeah, right hand. And then I just fill in those gaps. And then I like to, if I don't, because this eyebrow doesn't have an arch like this one does. So what I do is I like go in and I create my own arch. If you tend to go a little too heavy, you know, right here in the corner, because you don't want it to look like a box. You don't want the box brows. You can just go in and like brush at it and it'll kind of fade it. It'll fade it. Some people go in with concealer just to clean it up, but I like just the natural, almost kind of like bushy looking brow. So I just leave it at that. And for some reason, I don't know why, but brows is my least favorite thing to do. And I guess it's because it's so tedious. Now we're gonna do lashes, and lashes that I'm using are Adele, the Demi Wispy. I got these from Target. I like these because the band is like thin and it's not thick. So honestly, sometimes I forget I even have them on because I just don't like to wear, I don't like lashes that make my eyes feel heavy, if that makes sense. So these are very natural and they don't make my eyes feel heavy. Now they're hard to get off of the thing, so I just peel it off with a tweezer. So I'm gonna go in with this Duo, the Duo glue. Really focus on those corners because that's what tends to like lift the easiest. And so I'll put that on there, put it on the next one. And you want the glue to dry a little bit. It'll be so much easier to put them on. So I'm just gonna let those sit and dry. And while those are drying, I'm gonna do my lips. I find it easier for my lips to be a little bit on the drier side to apply the lip liner. The lip liner that I'm using is Cork and it's brown. And I feel like it's easier to apply your lip liner when it's pretty sharp. So I like to sharpen mine. And then I like to kind of start right here at the little, that's not a Cupid's bow, I don't know what that's called, but like align that first. So I like to line that first. And I like to go slow with a soft hand as well. Okay, and I'm just gonna do a nude look since it's just kind of like a nude, simple look. This is the butter gloss, and this is in the color Fortune Cookie. That's cute, Fortune Cookie. I personally just apply it to my bottom lip, and I just rub it in. And then I kind of like pop, 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 just to really make it blend. Pop, pop, pop. I like to take the one that I put the glue on first. And tweezers is the easiest for me because then I could just like kind of look and I just kind of place them. I place it in the middle and then I do each side. So I place it in the middle and then I do the end and then I place the front. And you kind of want to grab the lash right in the middle. Grab the lash right in the middle. And then you don't want it to be too close to the line because you don't want the glue to get on your tweezers because then it'll keep taking the lashes off. I kind of like to look down at an angle like this. And then I just place it in the middle like I said. Then I place it on the end. And then I place it in the front. And then I just kind of go in and I'll push it all in there. Now while I'm allowing that to dry a little bit more, like on, you also, another thing I also like to do is I would take the glue and I will wipe quite a bit of it off, right? And then I would kind of line it like it's like a eyeliner. And that just gives it extra like security. And you ain't gotta worry about your lashes lifting throughout the night, throughout the day. Oh, I forgot a step, y'all. I forgot a step. So if you want kind of like that edgy, like, you know, that edgy, the edgy look, then I really love to go in with like an under eyeliner. And I prefer like brown because I just feel like even though it's like edgy, it's still like soft and subtle. And then this brown has kind of like a shimmer to it, and I think that's really pretty. And this is the Sephora brand, and it's called Shimmer Espresso. So yeah, I like to go in and just kind of line my underline. And I don't go all the way, I kind of stop right in there. If y'all can y'all see that? Can y'all see the difference between the eyes? It just gives it like, daddy in my ear, baby. Daddy in my ear, baby. Okay, let's do the other. Okay, so now that we got both of them done, we're gonna put some mascara on our lashes. And this is just a basic mascara, y'all. I want to try out some new ones because I honestly like this mascara is given mid. And you see how difference that makes? It just gives it like a more flirty girl look. And also I'll kind of go in and I will kind of like touch up my lashes to blend with the fake lashes. And because these lashes don't go all the way to the center, I like to put it on my natural lashes right in there. If you don't get the lashes as close as you want them to be, then you can always just press them into your natural lashes. Just press it like that. That's what I like to do. Oh my gosh, y'all, I always do this. So you totally want to do your setting spray, which I've been using the Morphe and I do really like it, before you put on your mascara. Because if you close your eyes, then the mascara is gonna get all under here and you have to redo your concealer and all this stuff. And y'all be so funny because I literally sometimes when I forget, I would try to put on it with my eyes open. It's giving psycho, it's giving psychotic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wait till my mascara is completely dry and then I will go in with my setting spray. But I will show y'all, like, you want to hold it at a distance when you spray. You don't want it to be directly like on your face. Hold it at a distance and I just kind of like and that's just gonna set your makeup and make sure that it lasts and it's just smooth all throughout the day. Yeah, so basically this is the final look, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to change and I'm gonna come take y'all into some natural lighting so y'all can really see what it's giving. Also, I think I'm gonna add a little bit more to my lips just to really give it a pop. Okay. Y'all, I had to come back really quick because I totally forgot something, which is crazy because this is like one of my favorite like parts of makeup. Can't believe I forgot that. Plus, like, I cannot find my favorite highlighter. And sometimes, like, currently, like, at first I was using this blush that had like a shimmer to it, so I didn't feel the need to put highlighter on. But I didn't use that blush today, so we need some highlight. Like, we need that glow. Plus it's like sunny and pretty outside, and that's why the lighting is a little different because I'm using natural lighting right now. So I can't find my Fenty, so I'm just gonna go in with this little palette, like this little gold bronzy color. And I like to get like a little fluffy brush. Same on this side. And I love a nice little glow. I'm really sad I can't find my Fenty right now. And then I do it at the tip of my nose, down the bridge of my nose. I like to go under my eyebrows. So yeah, I just had to show y'all that. Okay, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I hope y'all found this helpful. If y'all decide to use any of these products, drop down below what you decided to use, what worked for you, what didn't. If there's any other videos y'all would like to see, please also comment that below. This was more, like I said, just a natural beat. So what I'll do is I'll be trying new products. If there's any products that y'all have heard of that's popping, let your girl know, and I'll give y'all a real raw review. Also, if you're new here, my name is Tatiyanna Sade, and I love everything beauty, lifestyle. That's majority of what my channel will be about. So if you feeling your girl, go and hit that subscribe button, you know, hit the bell, post notification, so you get notified when your girl posts a video. And I know y'all probably gonna ask where I got this hair from, and this is Yummy, and this is the Burmese curly. I got 3 bundles in. I have a leave out. This was like the texture that kind of matched my natural hair the most. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you all for all the support and the love. I'm just still so excited to start this new community. If you're in the Dallas area, please comment below, let me know, because I would love to like set up some type of event for us girls to kind of like network. If you're also trying to get into content creating, you know, we can do some collabs together, and just like I said, form this community of just, you know, women supporting other women, you know, creating new relationships and connections, you know, just putting ourselves out there and, you know, helping each other grow as people. I would love that so much. So pray you all have a blessed week, and until next time, bye.
Been a few hours, but it felt like days.